I'm Jackie Lucky, your financial planning maestro. This series of podcasts is aimed at financial planning professionals and also those who are looking to enter the financial planning profession. We will be talking during the podcast about all things Certified Financial Planner certification related, talking to other CFPs around the world, and also we will be dropping in on some new entrants who've just entered the financial planning profession, and we'll be checking up along the way on a regular basis with them to see how they're getting on. I hope you enjoy today's podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Jackie Lucky, your financial planning maestro. And on today's episode, I am joined by Sarah Huffen from Gilded Wealth. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
That's my pleasure. And we are here to talk about all things certified financial planner related. And I am really interested in your situation and everything that's happened to you. And I know that our listeners are going to be excited and interested and intrigued by all of the things that have befallen you over the last few months on your route to passing your certified financial planner assessment, which only came through a few weeks ago.
Yes, it's been an eventful year, I think, to say the least.
So before we get into what's been happening over the last few months for you, let's take you right back to tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the world of financial planning.
I think I've got a bit of a different story to a lot of people in finance. So if we go right back, I left home when I was 19 and I was actually show jumping abroad in Denmark. I was living there for quite a while. And then from there, I moved to Wales, where I was working for and training horses for an Olympic show jumper, which was an incredible experience. And then I sort of realised that you can't really pay the bills just riding other people's horses. No. And it's not remotely as glamorous as what people think it is. And realised I actually need to get what is probably a class as a proper job. And I actually got a job as a receptionist in an investment firm. And I saw it at the time as something to keep me going until something better came along. It was never something I ever saw myself doing. Not even working in an office was quite a far stretch for me. But the longer I stayed there, I actually found that I really enjoyed it. And I sort of started to climb the ladder within the business and started to be an office manager. And I found I was actually really good at it. And then I was given the opportunity where they said if I wanted to do all the exams myself, that I'd be able to become a financial advisor. And I always thought to myself, I was never academic in the slightest, or as far as I knew. And I think I said to you before, Jackie, I've only got 3 GCSEs. I thought, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. But I thought, we'll give it a go. And I managed to pass all the exams. And it's sort of gone on from there, really, and became a financial advisor working for that firm.
That's fantastic. And how did you find going through those exams? Did you struggle at all, or did you just because I know you're once you're doing it, you've got the bit between your teeth and you're at it like a balloon in a china shop, aren't you?
I think that was pretty much how I took to them as well. I was really fortunate that, I say fortunate, I worked incredibly hard. It was sort of studying from 7 to 8:30 before work, studying on my lunch break, and then every evening. And obviously a lot of people know that with the CISI exams, you're given a book which you've got to read and then do the exams. Yeah. And I did work really hard, and I did manage to pass them all first time somehow. Wow. And so, I found them all right, thankfully. And I think that's what made me realise that this is actually something I was really good at, and because I did take to it so easily. So I think, it sort of went on from there.
So tell us a bit more about how you found out about the CFP and why you decided to embark on that process.
So it was actually my business manager. He suggested that, I'm relatively young for the industry, and he said, it'd be a really quite a big achievement if I could have a go at the CFP and master it. So he just sort of flagged it up to me. And at the time, I'm 3 years into the business. It wasn't a position where I could take a bit of time out to be able to give it my all. Obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing, as we'll get into. But that was pretty much how I came across it, really. I think why I wanted to do it it was, again, I think, as you said, I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop. If I'm going to do something, I am going to go wholehearted into it. And I thought, if I've come this far, there's nothing stopping me carrying on, really. So I thought I'd just give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, nothing to lose and everything to gain. Yeah.
And it benefits my clients. It's always, beneficial to push your career further forward. And, being sort of, a relatively young female in what is quite a male industry, it's nice to have that sort of extra string to your bow.
Yeah.
To give you that bit more, that more quality, I suppose, in your advice.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you, what did you do? So you went on a course, didn't you?
Yes. So now obviously got the level 6 out the way, the written, the 3-hour written exam, and it was straight into the level 7. So I managed to get onto a fantastic course run by yourself and Steve. And it was, I think, as I said to you before, I wouldn't have been able to do the level 7 without that course. Yeah. It was complete. I would say it's essential into actually getting that first time pass. Definitely.
Yeah. And then after the course, we did a bit of coaching as well, didn't we?
We did. And I think that really, really helped cement the advice that I was giving in the case study. It helped. I think it gave me that confidence to know that what I was saying was actually correct. I was giving good advice, and it gave me, as I said, that confidence to actually go, right, we are doing well with this. I am on the right track, and just go for it. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we were talking a bit earlier, weren't we? The importance of building a comprehensive Excel spreadsheet or set of Excel spreadsheets and actually learning and having that time to think through how to build them and then how to present it was really one of the more valuable things, I think, of the course, wasn't it, for you?
Oh, definitely. I think there was more time and effort. I think you end up spending, weeks and ends perfecting your figures in the Excel spreadsheet. And that's not the bit that you marked on. Obviously, that's what goes towards the case study. And, when you type in the case study up, it's a fraction of the time in comparison to what you put into the Excel spreadsheet. But again, you can't, as we said before, you can't really start typing up your case study until you've perfected the figures that you've got in that Excel spreadsheet. Because I think changing even something as simple as, if you want to change one assumption or one figure, it affects the whole advice that you're giving. So it just demonstrates how important it is to perfect that spreadsheet and get your figures bang on first.
Yeah. And you were quite unusual from the people that I coach in that you didn't get towards your 60-page maximum limit either, did you?
I was 57 pages.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I was literally, it was just 3 pages away, which I think it's because I sort of filled it out with charts and all sorts. I was determined to get as much in as I possibly could.
Throw the kitchen sink at it. Well, you did brilliantly, because tell everybody what happened next.
So it was literally, on the Thursday that I agreed to go in for the level 7 case study, and it was the day after, on the Friday, I had a call from my mum saying that my dad, only at 66, had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it's quite severe. And then on the Saturday, my mum said that she was worried her tuberculosis was back, and she didn't think she'd survive it this time around because she had it when we were much younger. And then by the Sunday, I'd told my, at the time, just boyfriend that we had to get married, and he had to propose to me. So the case study did get put to one side for quite a few weeks, which did obviously affect quite a lot of things. We had then the wedding to organise within about a 2-month period, so that my dad was able to walk me down the aisle. And then just when you thought nothing could get any worse, and we didn't have anything else on our plate, me and my other half, or now husband, both got COVID, and he was in hospital for about a week when the due date came for the case study. So I managed to get a short extension for an extra week and had to type it up, I think, in 2 days with quite bad COVID. So it was, gosh. And then in the meantime, we'd also lost my granddad to COVID. So it'd been a real whirlwind. So even more surprised that I did manage to pass, but it made it even more worthwhile and made all the stress more worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, I hope, sorry to hear about your granddad as well. And I hope everybody else comes through all of this unscathed, and that you and your husband are okay now. You've made a full recovery, the pair of you. Yes,
thankfully he's been left, even quite a few months later, he's been left with some sort of the long COVID side effects, but he made it to the wedding, as did my dad's, and I think that were the two main things I could get out of it, really.
Gosh. So you've had a really, really tough few months of it. I mean, that's the understatement of the year, I think, isn't it, to say that? And how on earth you managed to basically spend 2 days typing the whole thing up, and then pass on your very first attempt at the assessment is just absolutely brilliant. And also testament to your, to everything that you have faced up until that point. Really well deserved and very well done. I think I'm sure many certified financial planners and financial planners in the community would join me in congratulating you, considering especially how much you've been through. So that's just an absolutely unbelievable story. But
thank you very much, Jackie.
Thank you for sharing it. It's so very kind of you. So let's move on a little bit and talk about how the CFP is starting now to change, if it is starting to change how you deal with clients differently, maybe how you approach them. So just thinking about, obviously you only recently in the last few months have gone through that process. Do you think that looking forward, are you actually starting to, kind of check yourself and think about things a bit more differently, like assumptions or, how to run your cash flow software or things like that for clients?
Oh, definitely. So again, as you said, with the cash flow software, a lot of it has the assumptions built in, but it has got me actually sometimes tweaking some of the assumptions myself and to make them a lot more realistic, perhaps. I think just all the advice that I'm giving to a lot of my clients, it has made me, as you say, check myself and go into a lot more depth and a lot more detail. And it sort of makes you realise that, I don't quite know how I gave advice without the CFP. It sort of, because it really does encompass so much of advice that you should be giving to clients on a daily basis. I think it just shows just how vital it is really to have the qualification personally, I think.
Yeah. So looking at, you run your own business and it's in its early days, isn't it? About 2 to 3 years in existence. Just give us a flavour of how the CFP might start to change your business or help you improve your business over the long run.
So I think it's really more about credibility, and it really gives clients a lot more confidence in the advice that I'm giving them. I think it gives me actually more confidence in the advice that I'm giving my clients. And I know that the advice that I'm giving is completely comprehensive. Obviously, that benefits the business because you're more likely to then get referrals because you know that the clients, they are really happy with the advice that you're giving. And I think, it's just really about, making sure that the advice you're giving is as comprehensive as possible, really. Yeah. And again, that benefits the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be watching as the years roll by. I'll be keeping an eye on you to see how things go. But, as we've mentioned a couple of times, there aren't many female certified financial planners in the UK. And certainly there's only 2 that I know of who have passed at the same time as you. And we are going to interview the other young lady as well on our podcast episode soon. But just if there are other females out there at the moment who are probably listening to this podcast who may be aspiring to be or in the process of training to be a financial advisor, a financial planner, maybe they are a paraplanner already and happy in that role, just give them some advice about life in general in the financial services world, and also if you think that they should just do the CFP.
Definitely, just do it. I think the sooner you get it done, the sooner it's out of the way, firstly.
Yeah.
But I think it is quite a male-run industry. And I think the more women that can come in and push themselves with their career will eventually sort of break those numbers down and make it a more sort of, it would be lovely one day if it was a 50-50 industry with the male and the females. But I think it's the more women that can come in and be empowered enough to do this qualification and show that, you don't necessarily need university degrees and all sorts to achieve this. It's just really pushing themselves to do it. I appreciate I think it is sometimes actually harder for women to do it when you've got families and, homes, and then trying to run a career with that is naturally harder at times. But I think if you do have the time to do it, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Just do it when you've not got a wedding to plan, possibly.
Yes, and COVID and illnesses and all the rest of it. And yes, in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again. And I think, we're rapidly running out of time. I think I could natter to you all day long, Sarah. But just thinking about those people who are about to embark on their CFP case study in the next few weeks, in the next few months, and in coming into 2022, do you have any tips to share with those people who are about to embark on the process?
Definitely. I think, as we said before about the spreadsheet, it is absolutely essential that you don't really start typing your case study up until you know that you've got your figures exactly where you want and you're completely happy with all of them. I think the second one is if you have gone on a course with yourself, Jackie, to try and get in a one-to-one, whether it's just to run over the assumptions, just check any of your ideas, or you just want that confidence to know that, what the advice that you are giving in the case study is correct. It made all the world of difference me having that one-to-one with you. And it did give me that confidence to know that it was right and I could start typing once I'd obviously recovered. Yeah. And the third one, just go for it. If the worst thing that's going to happen is, you're given an extra few weeks to do it and, you will eventually get it. But I think the longer you put it off, the longer it's going to take you to get there. I think just go for it. If you're thinking about it, definitely just get hold of the bit between your teeth and run with it.
Excellent. And just get on with it.
Yeah, which is, I think, the mantra of my life, I think.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say all those things about the coaching and everything. And I'm sure that there are many people out there who will be absolutely fascinated by your story and inspired by your story. And hopefully that will inspire them to get the bit between the teeth and get on with it as well. So, Sarah, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully we can catch up again in a year or so's time and see how your business is going on. And many congratulations again for everything that, for all the results that you've achieved with the CFP, despite these very difficult circumstances these last few months. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. It's really interesting, isn't it, to listen to other people's points of view about different things, all relating to our wonderful financial planning profession. If you know anyone who might be interested in listening to any of these podcasts, please pass on our details to them. So that's it from me. Join me again next time when we'll be talking all things certified financial planner related and also dropping in on our new entrants to the financial planning profession. Bye for now.